She lied that she had a miscarriage for sympathy, but I never knew she wasn't pregnant. Months later, I found out she did it to cover up an abortion from an affair. Her own best friend told me everything. If you enjoy these stories, kindly subscribe to help us reach our first 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for being here. I remember the day she crumpled to the floor, sobbing, telling me she'd lost our baby. The grief on her face was so raw. I could almost taste it. She screamed that it was gone, that our future was shattered. I held her as she shook in my arms, believing every word. And now, months later, I wish I could unhear what I've just been told. Because it turns out, there never was a baby. There's just a lie so twisted. I feel like I'm choking every time I think about it. My name is Patrick, and this is the story of how I found out my fiancée, Amalia, faked a miscarriage to hide an abortion. An abortion she got because she was pregnant by someone else. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it as I write these words. We met 3 years ago at a mutual friend's housewarming. She was bright, magnetic, the kind of person who lit up a room. We talked about everything: travel, music, where we saw ourselves in 5 years. She told me she wanted kids one day. I told her I wanted to build a life with someone who'd be my best friend. By the end of the night, she was resting her head on my shoulder as we watched the stars from the balcony. Our relationship moved fast. Within a year, we moved in together. I remember carrying boxes up the stairs of our first apartment, both of us laughing about finally escaping our tiny shared rooms with roommates. We spent our evenings cooking pasta, dancing barefoot in the kitchen, whispering about baby names, even though we weren't trying yet. Those were the best days of my life. Then, around 18 months in, she came out of the bathroom, holding a positive pregnancy test. I was stunned. I thought I'd be terrified, but all I felt was this wild, consuming joy. She jumped into my arms. We spun around. I kissed her forehead and thought, this is it. We're really going to be a family. We told our parents a few weeks later. Her mom cried on the phone. My dad asked if we'd thought about getting married sooner, now that a baby was coming. Amalia said she wanted to wait until after the birth, so she could fit in her dream dress. I thought it was cute, but she started acting different, quickly. At first, I chalked it up to hormones. She was more distant, irritable, tired. She'd cancel dinner plans, say she felt sick, then disappear into the bedroom and lock the door for hours. Some nights, she'd stay up late texting. I assumed it was her girlfriends. When I asked, she snapped, "It's none of your business," and stormed off. I convinced myself I was being paranoid. Then one night, about 2 months into the pregnancy, I woke up to find her curled on the bathroom floor, clutching her stomach. She was pale, sweaty, crying. She looked up at me with terrified eyes and whispered, "It's happening. I'm losing it." My chest clenched so hard, I thought I'd black out. I scooped her up and drove like a maniac to the ER. They ran tests. She kept crying, saying there was so much blood. The doctors asked when she'd last had an ultrasound. She stammered, said her appointment had been delayed. They looked confused, but didn't push it. Hours later, they discharged her, told her to rest. She said she'd already passed the baby at home, and the hospital said there was nothing they could do. I was numb. I spent the next 2 weeks watching her stare blankly at the TV. She refused to talk about it, just kept saying, "It's gone. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." I tried to be strong, told myself we'd try again, that we'd heal together, but she kept pulling away. She started sleeping at her best friend Lila's place, said she needed space. I thought maybe I reminded her too much of the baby. The distance grew. Our home felt cold, empty. I'd lie awake, listening to the clock tick, wondering if we'd ever get back what we had. Then came the message. One morning, for months after the miscarriage, I woke up alone. Her phone buzzed. A message from a contact saved as a, "I miss you. Can we talk?" I felt sick. Who the hell was A? She walked in as I stared at the message. Her face went white. She snatched the phone, screamed, "What the fuck, Patrick? Why are you spying on me?" I asked her who it was. She said, "An old co-worker checking in after the miscarriage." I want to believe her, but her eyes told a different story. Things got worse. She stopped wearing her engagement ring, would leave for hours, sometimes not come home. I saw strange charges on our shared card. Restaurants we'd never been to. Hotel rooms. She said it was work stuff. Said she needed time away. Then, one Friday night, Lila showed up, unannounced. She looked sick, shaky. She said, "Patrick, I don't know how to tell you this." She told me everything. Amalia was never pregnant. The positive test? Fake, bought online. She'd told Lila weeks later. She didn't know whose baby it would have been, because she was sleeping with someone else. Someone from work. She'd panicked, gotten an abortion, then faked a miscarriage. To cover up the affair. My ears were ringing. I couldn't move. Lila showed me screenshots. Texts between her and Amalia. Confessions. Guilt. Talks about the other man. How he ghosted her the second she got pregnant. How she came crawling back to me, terrified of being alone. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. Dry heaving. When I came back, Lila was crying. She said Amalia was already looking at apartments, that she didn't want me blindsided. When Amalia walked in that night, she saw me sitting there. I asked her, "Did you ever even want this life with me?" She said nothing. I told her I knew everything. About the fake pregnancy, the abortion, the affair. She collapsed, sobbing. I asked her why, over and over. Why lie? Why let me mourn a child who never existed? Her answers made no sense. She said she loved me, that she panicked, that she thought I'd hate her if I knew. I felt like a ghost, watching strangers argue. I told her I wanted her gone by the weekend. She begged, cried, clung to me, but I couldn't touch her. She slept on the couch. I stared at the ceiling, remembering everything, every promise, every lie. The next day, I called my parents. My mom cried. My dad offered to help pack her things. I said I needed to do it alone. Amalia moved like a ghost that day, cried over our photo albums. I felt nothing, just numb. That night, I walked until dawn. When I came back, she was gone. Keys on the counter. Engagement ring beside them. A note I couldn't bring myself to read. Weeks passed. I moved like a zombie. Work, home, sleep, repeat. Then Lila texted. Said Amalia confessed more. So the other guy cut her off cold. Said she had a history of lying. About pregnancies, cheating, even fake tragedies. That broke me more than anything else. I'd never known the woman I loved. I started therapy. Tried to untangle the guilt, the shame, the blind hope. My therapist told me love makes us blind. A month later, Amelia's mom called. Said she was getting help. Asked if I'd speak to her for closure. I said no. I was done. One night, I deleted all our photos. It felt like amputation, but necessary. Lila and I still talk. She checks in. She said Amalia tried to reach out again. I said no. I didn't want to crumble or rage. I'd spent enough time in pieces. I searched Amalia online once. Found one photo, smiling like nothing happened. I closed the tab. Swore I wouldn't look again. I started volunteering, serving meals at a kitchen. No lies, no pretending, just kindness. Eventually, I sold the apartment. Too many ghosts. Packing hurt. Every item a betrayal. I dropped it all at Goodwill. Cutting anchors. My dad helped me move. Put his hand on my shoulder. I'm proud of you, son. I didn't know how much I needed to hear that. The new place is small, but peaceful. Every item is mine. No echoes of her voice. Therapy's still ongoing. Trust is hard, but I'm trying. I'm reconnecting with old friends. Rediscovering who I was before all this. Last weekend, I went hiking. At the summit. I felt okay. Not happy, but whole. That night, I opened her letter. Read it. She apologized. Explained. Excused. I felt nothing. Just quiet. I threw it in the trash. Today, writing this, I feel like I'm finally on the other side. Here's what I've learned. Love shouldn't make you question reality. If their actions and words don't match, believe the actions. Trust your gut. And never beg someone to love you right. I don't know if I'll ever marry or have kids, but I know I'll never settle for someone who makes me feel small. If you're where I was, please hear me. You're not disposable. You deserve honesty. You deserve love that doesn't hurt. You deserve to feel safe. This is the last page of this chapter. Tomorrow, I start writing a new one. And this time, I'm the only author.